Wiseman first. Okay, he looks good out there. He looked fluid, he looked fast, and he looked strong, right? He came into the league about 240. I think they were saying he was like 255, 258. So that's a big deal that he can still, I mean, he still runs like a gazelle out there. One thing that I loved about him before he got drafted was seeing highlights of him like running as if he were 6'6", right? He wasn't running like a plodding center. He wasn't like upright. He wasn't stiff. He has long legs and he just ran as if he was a smaller dude. And that's just a taste of what he can actually do. So he still has that. And he had two nice blocks, great timing on those. And overall on defense, which is a big part of how he'll stay on the court next season, he looked better. You know, he looked more like he was moving better, like he knew his assignments a little bit better. He was kind of just covering and playing weak side stuff and giving help and all that other jazz. He was a lot better with his rotations on the defensive end. And that's really, really promising because when you're out for that long, obviously there's the physical side, but of course there's the mental side, especially for a guy who hasn't played in such a long time and only played 39 games his rookie year, had no summer league before that, and only played 3 games at Memphis in college. So that's a big deal. Good start for him. And after the lob, he hit a nice three. He had the ball and he just faced up and put it up and it rattled in. So that was good. And he had a couple other shots. He was 5 for 7. I would have loved to have seen him shoot more. I would have loved to have seen guys feed him the ball in the low post or look for him more in lobs. Granted, the Spurs were trying to take that away. But his shots, you know, he shot a couple mid-rangers. He had a turnaround, fadeaway, 2-point shot. And I was like, okay, he's got that. He's got that. And then he had another face-up mid-ranger. So that's solid. He has that touch. And, you know, it had been reported that his offensive touch looks pretty good still. That's good. And obviously he's getting his rhythm and timing back. And, you know, I'd watched his G League games before he got shut down because of a complication with his right knee from the meniscus, but he looked way better here. A lot of it, of course, is due to the fact that it's better competition. He has better teammates and just the environment of Summer League where it's a place to be seen and you have like all the big name coaches, big name players, celebrities, all that stuff showing up, you know? Whereas like in the G League, you get like 20 people in the stands. So he was definitely more active and amped up for that. And, you know, people were feeding him the ball a little bit better early on. And then you could tell he was getting frustrated that he wasn't getting the ball so much in the second half, but it's okay. It's okay. You know, another thing is like, you really, really forget how huge he is out there, right? I mean, we're so used to seeing Kevon Looney as our center getting, you know, bodied by other guys, but, you know, as good as Looney is, he's only 6'9", right? And Robert Williams was bigger than him, but James Wiseman is bigger than both Robert Williams and Al Horford, you know? So that's just a nice reminder of who he can be and what he can do out there. He did have 7 fouls. Some of those were maybe a little ticky-tack, but it's Summer League, and he'll need to work those out a little bit. He's going into his 3rd year, but he will still probably get rookie calls against him, especially if he is, you know, reaching or slow or whatever. But he did a good job on defense being straight up, right? When he was coming on help, and if somebody beat their man and got to the rim, he wouldn't try to reach over them. He would just go straight up. And I remember that from his rookie year, people telling him that, hey, you are 7'1", just put your arms straight up and people will not be able to shoot over you. Don't go for like crazy blocks. Don't go for pump fakes. Don't dive in. Don't put your hand over them, anything like that. So that was good. That was something that I feel like he's definitely worked on, and that's a positive. He only had a couple rebounds, and that was something from before that he needed to work on. Just his first game, so kind of give him a pass. But, you know, he had trouble rebounding little bit in the G League stint. So hopefully this is something he can start showing if he plays a couple more games in the summer league. And, one thing that looked good was his hands. I've always thought he had soft hands, but he was just a little jittery his rookie year. But people were saying he has bad hands, but none of that was there today. He caught passes that were thrown to him. There was that tight pass that Kuminga threw to him in the fourth quarter, I think, where Kuminga drove, was kind of probing the defense a little bit and found Wiseman under the basket and kind of threw like a bit of a laser pass right into his, chest, and Wiseman caught it, went straight up for the dunk. So that's good. Everybody complained about those hands before, so I don't recall once in this game or in this broadcast where it was brought up. And yeah, bottom line, he sounded like he was happy and healthy afterwards. He said his knee felt great, and that was the most important thing. When he came back halfway through the fourth or towards the end of the fourth, I was like, okay, hopefully this is a good thing and that he doesn't like overly work that knee. So we'll see about that, but fingers crossed. It seems like everything is fine, and it's exciting. It really is, because I've been a huge James Wiseman fan, stan, whatever you want to call it, since 2020, since the Warriors were trying to figure out during that extended break, I guess, between March 2020 and the actual draft in November 2020. And, as much as I liked Edwards and could have talked myself into LaMelo Ball, I liked Wiseman, So, I've always felt that if he's healthy, he has the ability to do some things out there and take the long view, right? He doesn't need to come in next season and average 25 points a game or have like 15 boards a game or anything like that. Would be amazing, but that's not what they really need. If you think back into the playoffs and the finals, they need a big body to play defense, rebound, be that lob threat, and just force teams to guard the Warriors in a different way so that the Warriors get even more wide open shots from the perimeter, right? Like imagine guys guarding Steph and then having to come down low and guard Wiseman. I mean, as much as everybody else benefited from Steph's gravity with this improved team compared to the one that Wiseman played with his rookie season, I mean, that makes me wish the regular season was just around the corner.